slow news day. Am I right, Sam? Let's try that again.
Let's go one more time. Okay, so first things first, let's start with the biggest news of the day, okay?
Mm-hmm.
New Frank Green and a sneaky link.
Oh.
Both of them happened.
Mm-hmm.
Fake tan hands and a hoop. Okay. I'm going to spell some of
5'3"
attitude. 5'3" and an attitude. Okay. This is what's important today in our newsroom today. I would love to talk about a 3.5-year-old video of Australian women
on the other side of the world.
On the other side of the world having fun. And I want to talk about this and then get so fucking mad that I am like, you know what? I don't care. Burn the American hegemon down. Remove everything. I am so fucking mad at itty bitty titties and a bob that I cannot function right now. Anyway, but that's all old news now. The stock market, we all were online this morning. It's back. Fake panic, created by the media, the panikins. The panicking people screwed up. Markets are all green now. I saw that this morning. I was like, yep, awesome. Bought in everywhere and then logged out for the day. So I think I'm probably up $7 million right now, $12 million right now, something like that.
You didn't miss anything major happening in the NBA either.
Okay, cool.
Nothing. Cool. No news happened today, actually.
Okay, because I just placed my bet. Nikola Jokic will retire a Nugget. I got not great odds, so I had to put $30,000 down to win 30. But I think it'll pay off.
Yeah, I mean it's very similar to the Victor Wembanyama Defensive Player of the Year. There's no way that doesn't happen.
Yeah, doesn't hit. Yeah, no, there's no way we would get that wrong, or anything. Also, just Calvin Booth. Shout out. Now that Bloach made that tweet, I'm never. That is like if Calvin Booth gets another job at the NBA, that's all I'm going to be able to think about. Did you see his tweet?
No.
About how Bloach said something like that anytime you try to make a black Dark Souls character, he comes out looking like Calvin Booth, and I've always held that against him. And that fucking killed me. And now I'm never gonna be able to think about that ever.
I saw a better one. I can't believe it. I don't know if you saw this one.
Yeah.
But it said that Calvin Booth's face looks like someone photoshopped Nicolas Cage over Mike Brown's head.
I did see that one too.
It's uncanny if you look at a photo of Calvin Booth. He literally does look like it's identical to that exact comparison. It literally almost fell out of my chair reading that.
A lot of good ones. Anyway, it's a good. Everyone always says 5 games before the end of the season is when you want to fire your coach.
I'm telling you. The Luka trade shifted the Overton window of what is acceptable from NBA owners and front offices. Yeah. It is now, it's no holds bar. Anything
crime
goes.
is legal. Yeah,
we are having the purge, but for NBA teams now. Yeah. You can fire your coach a month out. You can not only can you fire your coach a week before the playoffs or the postseason starts, and then on top of that, you also fire the guy he was fighting with. That's the best part about all of this. It's literally like when your parents, you're fighting with your sibling over something, and your parents are like, neither of you get it now.
Yeah.
That's what the Cronkies did, is they said, if you guys hate each other so much, we're going to fire both of you a week before the postseason, and that's going to fix this team, which is just a bulletproof plan, in my opinion.
So here's what I want to say about this. Do we, okay, this is you are never going to have a harder case if you do not under any circumstances have to hand it to ISIL, because the Cronkies are demons, up and down, 100%. The fact that they did this just makes me think it's the wrong decision, just because they are evil. That said, neither the job Calvin Booth did and the job that Michael, don't call him Mike, Malone did, They weren't exactly good. I'm not like looking at this like, wow, no, you can't do that to these guys who were so good at their job. Come on, man. Like,
but another, you don't want to hand it to ISIS moment here, but Haralabob in the comments. Yeah. In my opinion, if you have a generational player and you don't want to pay the tax, you should literally just sell the team or trade that player.
Agreed.
It's one of the two things, because it doesn't get much better than Jokic on your team. And it, as we've said before, if you have Jokic on your team, team building should be on fucking easy mode. He makes pretty much everyone better on offense. Defensive talent playable on offense, that he lifts up basically everyone around him offensively so that you can play guys that are more limited on the offensive side of the court in a way that really only a few guys in NBA history ever had, Steph being another example of this recently. And all they've done since that championship year is go backwards. They obviously, their plan, and we've talked about this kind of ad nauseum, but their plan failed because it's really top down, in my opinion. I think it goes even above Calvin Booth, because if Calvin Booth was told we're never going to pay the tax, even though we have Jokic, even though we just won a championship, we're never going to go into the second apron or whatever, then that he had to do something that was outside of the box, right? He couldn't just do your traditional team building that most teams do. And then when they get up there, sometimes teams can get cheap when they're around certain thresholds and stuff like that. But they didn't even have a chance to go close to that. They're $5 million below the second apron. They didn't even go. They do not have any depth right now. And the failed post-championship team building really started before the championship, which is when they started to buy these late first round picks and early second round picks to take swings on guys on cheap contracts so that they could potentially have a scenario where they have a handful of guys that are on cheap deals to build out some depth on this team. It didn't work. They obviously also kind of were backed into a corner because everyone's like, why would you extend Jamal Murray? And it's like, well, he just won a championship for us a year ago. We're not going to extend him. Michael Porter Jr., he was, at the time, it seemed insane to give him that contract because of his back injuries. It worked out about as well as it could, and no one wanted to take on the contract. So, my whole thing is, they were kind of backed into a corner once they weren't willing to spend money. Because if they had an ownership that was willing to spend money, they could be more aggressive with trades, trading first-round picks for actually good players, instead of this strategy where they're taking Peyton Watson and Julian Strawther and Hunter Tyson and Jalen Pickett and all these guys that aren't guaranteed to be NBA players and trying to get them on scam deals so that they can basically have a little bit more depth and ability to withstand some of the injuries and things that happen throughout the course of a season. I mean,
here's what I'll say. There's no way around it. The timing on Murray's injuries was really brutal. That is
we talked about that.
Yeah, it's a pretty damaging thing. I do think I almost want to say that was the Karis LeVert wheel of Tim Conley that actually extended Michael Porter Jr.
Yeah. God, drafted him and then extended him despite the fact that he really only played one season.
Tim Conley is such a funny GM where he does nothing in the middle. Just all
he's the only Hooper GM we have.
He is a Hooper GM. That's the perfect way to put it.
Down to the fact that he literally just traded too far out picks to trade up for Rob Dillingham in this last draft.
Yeah.
Where he doesn't care about efficiency. Not every single shot is going to hit, but when the shots hit, the dopamine rush you get from those shots is the highest of the highs.
Well, it's just he has had so many moves where I'm that is going to be fucking terrible. And it's not good, but it's normal. That extension, the Michael Porter Jr. extension, I was that is one of the worst things I've ever seen. That is going to throttle the Nuggets. They're not going to be good. Didn't matter. The Gobert trade obviously seemed horrific. Is probably fine. And then this cat trade, I mean TBD, but might get away with it again with the Cat trade. Like, we'll see. Like, but anyway, we're not talking about him. We're talking about Calvin Booth. Was Calvin Booth the Aaron Gordon trade?
No, that was Conley. This is why I've said Calvin Booth always been an overrated GM, because imagine you inherited a team with Jokic in the middle of his prime, Jamal Murray coming back from injury.
Yeah.
And then you already have Aaron Gordon in place. The moves that he did, the easy put us over the top moves by trading for KCP, which was a good trade. I liked it at the time. Yeah. Worked out great for them. And then signing Bruce Brown with the MLE. Both great moves. No, I'm not denying that. But that's when what they learned very quickly was that when these guys play the way that they do on a team with Jokic, they're going to get paid. Bruce Brown got paid immediately. Yeah. KCP got paid after 2 years. And that strategy that they had where they used the future first to get second round picks and late first, it was a risky strategy. It did not pay off. But I don't really know how many other outlets you have when you have an ownership group that is just never going to pay money. Yeah. If you don't have an ownership group that's willing to spend, and you have these, you're literally losing guys because of money every year. One of the main beefs that they had was that Malone didn't want to lose KCP, which I have said at the time, I was like, they should have just paid him the money. It got to the point where I was like, all right, let's stop acting like KCP is like, fucking an all-star in his prime. He's a good player, and he got a little bit overpaid to go to the Magic, and he hasn't had a great year with the Magic. He would still be probably pretty good on the Nuggets, to be clear. And then on top of that, the fact is that started building on the rift that they already had, and if ownership isn't willing to spend, then I don't know what you're supposed to do, basically. Like, even the Christian Brown hit's really the only hit that they've had the last 3 drafts. Like, that's like a surefire, like, he's a rotation player. He works well with Jokic. Great. But if you go 1 for 5 or 1 for 6 on those moves, I don't really know what else you could do. It was a bad strategy it was an okay strategy if you nailed the picks. You didn't nail the picks. Yeah. And it was a high risk, high reward strategy.
Well, and that's what I was going to say though, because I will say this, there weren't they weren't like left with like a lot of avenues, like you have picks out the door in the Aaron Gordon trade, which was like a necessary trade. You nail the KCP thing, you nail the Bruce Brown thing. But by that point, like, you're already at that like cap point, like outside of re-signing KCP, like what were the other money moves that like really cost them though?
Bruce Brown. They also had no choice in the Bruce Brown thing, to be clear, because Bruce Brown, they didn't have his bird rights. Yeah. And he got like an inflated bag that he was very much not worth. But also like what it comes down to for me is that if you're in this situation as a GM and you have Jokic on a supermax, Jamal Murray on a max that you inherited, and then you had to give him another max on top of that. Yeah. I guess the question is, the question comes down to is, if they were going to salvage this thing, they probably had to trade one of Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray. Yes. They weren't willing to do that at what they perceived as a loss in a trade. And that ended up costing him his job because the strategy, once again, I remember those trades when they happened. They're very similar to these Suns trades that Ishbia has been making, where they do like a swap on a swap and they get like 3 second-round picks. Yeah. Presti was trading them, like they traded 2 picks to Presti so that they could get like the 30th pick in the draft and some seconds, basically. And those swings not paying off and them coming away with one rotation player made it so that they were super thin. They were already top heavy because of the contracts. And really the only one that has returned like positive value on their current contract is Aaron Gordon.
Yeah. I think they just needed to like, I mean, as bad as it sounds, I think they needed to be more hardball with like Jamal Murray, because I just don't think I refuse to believe anybody else was giving Jamal Murray that contract.
Well, no one else was. I mean, this to me comes down to, okay, so it's a very thin line to walk, wanting to keep your superstar happy and then telling him we can't do this.
Yeah.
Because very obviously Jokic is someone who, look, Jokic wanted Russ, they got Russ. Like now look, that's a veteran's minimum move. It's fine. Like ultimately he's actually probably returned positive value.
I was
going to
say he's actually probably been one of their better signings, to be honest. Like,
I think that what I'm trying to say is that, like, I think that Jokic they probably went to Jokic and they were probably, I'm not saying he was involved in the decision at all, but Jokic was probably like, get it done. We just won the championship a year ago. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
And they wanted to keep him happy. And this is a guy that they literally just won a title. He was very clearly the second best player during that run. And they didn't want to upset Jokic. And in a way that kind of fucked them because they had to pay a guy who is very good, but not worth $55-60 million a year, whatever he got on that contract.
Like, again, I am not making excuses for the Kroenke. They are Satan. In a just world, they would face karmic retribution in some way in Minecraft. This is, we are talking about, I just don't think, outside of re-signing KCP though, I just don't think that there was, I think this was kind of done by the damage was done in the Michael Porter Jr. contract. And then you kind of had to figure out a different way to get out of there. Now, Dewey agrees with me on this. He thinks that, for those of you who don't know, Dewey has
Dewey went to the vet. Dewey went to the vet today, so he's feeling spicy.
Okay, all right. Talk to him, Dew. Let him know. I just think that, like, we're really talking about the fact that Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray are like significantly negative value on their contracts, and both of them are maxes or near maxes, or were at the time. Like, I don't think Michael Porter Jr.'s was quite a max, but it was very close to a max.
It's basically a max.
Yeah. Like, that's bad when you have two guys who are effectively starters. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know Jamal Murray is, again, goes on the Karis LeVert wheel a little bit, like in the playoffs, where he has those games where he like really pops off and really carries, but like, he's a bad defender for a team that's really starved for good defense and is not very good. So I just think, like, yes, Calvin Booth also whiffed on all the other, like, they never got the hit. They never got the Peyton Pritchard or the 28th pick in the draft who ends up being like a really good guy. The closest they came was Christian Brown. But all their other guys, Strawther, Jalen Tyson. Jalen Pickett. Who's the
Hunter
other?
Tyson.
Hunter Tyson.
They had like 6 guys that were in like the late first, early second range. And they came away with one player who plays like real minutes for them. Peyton Watson and Pickett are in and out of the rotation. It's just, once again, a very tough needle to thread. You have to trust your scouts and you have to know that they know what they're doing in order to do this. But at the same time, what other team building strategy do you have when there are very limited avenues to building out depths on the team? I'm not going to go into this much further because I've already kind of beat that horse to death here. But the Michael Malone part of this, firing 2 coaches fired in the last month of the season. Taylor Jenkins first, now Mike Malone. What, like, I feel like it's partially is just due to parity. It's the NBA. Everyone is outside of the top 3 teams that are very clearly running away with the first and second seeds in the conferences.
Yep.
It's just kind of a mess right now. And everyone's panicking whenever they go on a 4-game losing streak. And if you have championship expectations, then there's going to be pressure to perform on everyone. And if they view the coach as, I don't know how both of these teams could view firing the coach as a good thing, is my thing.
It's so weird because especially in the case of Mike Malone,
we call him Mike. I don't respect him. Anyway, continue.
You're gonna get you're probably gonna get dog walked at some point in the playoffs. Fire him after that. You have a scapegoat. Weeks. Yeah, you have a scapegoat. You have like a reason. Nobody's gonna blink an eye at that. Like, Zach Lowe will start up his new podcast. Like, you are firing. They're gonna do the Frank Vogel shit. Like, oh my God, pearl clutching. Like, I can't believe they fired this guy who was like Really, you can't. That he had the MVP for 5 years. Like, and I know he was like not technically the MVP, but the guy who was the best player in the league over that 5-year span. Like, he has been the best player in the league of the past 5 years, and it's not remotely close.
There's only 2 coaches left in the NBA with job security, and they're Steve Kerr and Spo.
Jonathan Kuminga. The Patriots need you now. You are the only man who can save us. Jonathan Kuminga, I support you in your attack against Steve Kerr. You will get it done, King. I believe in you. Let's get you out of there. Let's get Steve Kerr out of there. Anyway, yeah. And I was going to say Steve Kerr is the only one left standing of anyone who's won a championship in the last half decade.
It's him and Joe Maz.
And Joe Maz, like that, it was like literally last year. So like that doesn't even count really to me, you know?
Well, I mean, Malone, it's been less than 2 years. That's the most insane part about this is that we now have Coach Bud 2 years out removed from a title fired. Yeah. Vogel 2 years out from a title fired. Malone, I already said Coach Bud. Malone 2 years. Nurse was 4 years. But Nurse also
kind of left, yeah.
And Nurse also had multiple different iterations of that team. Like, he had the Kawhi version, then Kawhi left, and he had the version with Lowry at the end of his tenure there, and then he left, and then they had like the fun young upstart team with Scotty Barnes. Like, he had chances at least. Like, I don't think that
he got a lot of chances to like look around for a new job on LinkedIn.
Yeah, sure. Yes, he was very LinkedIn.
He was very LinkedIn.
He was logged into LinkedIn.
He was in LinkedIn every day, sending messages.
Yep.
Finding out.
Some people would say he loves LinkedIn.
He loved LinkedIn.
Yeah. But
subscribe to the Unoball Patreon for more.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. So he is one of the so basically the only coaches, like I said, the only coaches that have tenure right now are Spo and Kerr. That's it. Yeah. And this is so there's 2 different things going on here. Where we have the parody of everything and the fact that everyone's goes on a 4-game losing streak and everyone's kind of mid. The large majority of the NBA is mid right now. Yep. And mid creates panic. Yes. It creates, oh my God, we need to fix this now. Let's fire the coach. That's the easiest thing we can do. And look, I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm the biggest like coaches matter guy in the in NBA media. I think that coaches are usually fairly disposable. But I do think that we've gone a little bit too far with this at this point, where it's like coaches get fired no matter, like, it's always the first thing that teams go to.
Yeah.
There's never any sort of like, well, we could try. It normally goes like this. You win a championship, you either lose guys or your window starts to close, and then you try to make either a panic move, like the Bucks made a panic move by trading for Damian Lillard, for example. And then if that doesn't work, a lot of the times you just fire your coach. But like, how many times are we going to have to go through this same cycle before teams realize? I feel like the Nuggets are headed down that Bucks path right now. And I think that the cherry on top of that is going to be the Michael Porter Jr. for Paul George trade this offseason. I'm not kidding. This is not a bit. No, I'm dead serious. I really think that's a trade that's going to happen. Because hear me out for a second. I'm not just doing like, oh, I want this. I don't care about Michael Porter Jr.
I was going to say, if you wanted this, I would need to cancel work and drive down there and do a wellness check with you. Like,
what I'm saying is that there's always they fired Bud, and then they traded Jrue Holiday with a pick and whatever for Damian Lillard.
Yeah. Always a dumb move, but
Michael Porter Jr. is still a good player, but we just talked about the fact that like they're getting the shit kicked out of them on defense.
Yeah.
And they are going to look around the league this offseason and they're going to say, what can Michael Porter Jr. get us? Because we're not going to be able to trade Jamal Murray because that contract is just massive. And also Jamal Murray at the end of the day still was the second best player on the championship team 2 years ago. We just extended Aaron Gordon and he's too valuable to us. And I think there are very few teams that are going to be jumping at the opportunity to trade for Michael Porter Jr. One of the few teams that will is probably the Philadelphia 76ers, who really have nothing to lose at this point. They might even have a new front office, so they won't be married to Paul George at all. Paul George probably would like to get out of Philly right now, considering how everything went this year. And then on top of that, Denver was interested in Paul George last offseason. He's true. A better perimeter defender than Michael Porter Jr. And in theory, you would hope is a better creator. Even with all of his flaws, he's still a better creator. So you don't have a lot of opportunities is what I'm trying to say. I think that is the panic trade that they make this offseason to try to make Jokic happy.
Yeah. I mean, well, also you're hitting the CBA rule where you have to trade a podcaster for another podcaster.
Yes.
Yeah. You're keeping the podcaster equality there.
The podcaster exchange rate.
Yep. Rusty Shacklebro pointing out that the Curious Mike podcast will link up with the Phillies to hash out the raw milk stuff.
Let's go.
Could get Bryce on there.
There we go.
The one I was thinking about is you get some Philly natives in there, some local flavor. You could have Curious Mike talk to Bibi Netanyahu, kind of get to the bottom of world events and like what's going on.
Yeah.
Explain him finding out what's going on over there. Yeah, that's tough. Thanks, Mike. I do think that it does fit like a little bit better. And I do think like Paul George contract is like alarming. You know, maybe Paul George bounces back next year and it doesn't look as bad, but like, I do think that trade would make a lot of sense. Here's my thing with Mike Malone and like the coaches and everything like that is I also do think that here comes a hot take. Okay. Do you want to guess whose fault I think this is that coaches get fired all the time?
Who?
This is Sam Presti's fault. And I'm not even totally doing a bit. It's because Sam Presti has smogged all the fucking picks and all the GMs. There's no liquidity in the fucking pick market right now because Sam Presti has them all. He's sitting on all of them. So these GMs, nobody can recoup their shit. Nobody can get their shit back. And because there's no liquidity, nobody can make fucking trades that change things. It's also partly the CBA, but it's also not helping that there's like all of the picks are owned by Oklahoma City and the Rockets.
I'm not entertaining this.
I'm not entertaining. I am not kidding though. Like I genuinely believe this because the reason they fire them is because they can't make moves to make the changes. GMs are trying to save their job. If they can't make a move when they're
why can't the Nuggets make a move? Because
they don't have picks.
Because they traded with Sam Presti, right?
Yes.
I mean, that is undeniably true. They literally cannot trade picks because they traded. By the way, looking back on what they got in those trades, I understand the thought process behind it.
Yeah.
The results could not have been worse for trading future first-round picks, making it so that you can't trade first-round picks at all. They have 2027 and 2029 are both owned by the Thunder with like light protections.
That's vile. That's so vile.
And the best picks they got back in those trades were like, they got the pick that got Peyton Watson, which was like the 30th pick in the draft. It's tough. It's a tough look.
Yeah, we don't like that.
Yeah. So that's the scenario that they're stuck in right now. Yeah. But I honestly congrats to the West. Congrats to the other teams in the West that aren't Memphis or Denver right now. Because I don't know, like, once again, I don't think coaching is the end all be all when it comes to this shit. But I also don't think you can fire your coach a week before the playoffs and then make a fucking title run. Like, you think that Ryan Saunders, you think that he's gonna have a legacy run here?
Let's just say I'm locked. I am locked in. Adrian Wojnarowski, formerly of ESPN, is reporting that Sam Sheehan is locked in on the Nuggets if they are the 4 or 5 seed. He's going to be very interested in the second round. He's going to be very interested in the second round.
Just going back for some more contrarian juice.
I'm just saying. We'll do our playoffs. We'll do our brackets. We'll do our picks. Let me just say, I'm doing the Timberland.
Ooh. So, how do you unfuck the vibes this quickly? Is my thing, because Nuggets fans have been saying. By the way, everyone in media, and understandably so, has just been like, "Well, they have Jokic. Whatever. Who cares?"
Yep.
They have Jokic. Nothing else matters. They have the best player. That's all that matters. But Nuggets fans have been saying all season, like, this team is not, the vibes aren't good.
Yeah.
They're
Mom and
all
dad
over
were
the place
fighting the whole time.
Exactly.
Everyone's like, now that's gone. Now it's got, mom and dad have been arrested. They're out of the house. This is the Adult Protective Services has seized the Denver Nuggets house.
Yeah.
Or Child Protective Services. Now it's okay. It's going to be fine. Everybody knows that foster families and foster houses
Jamal
are
Murray's
so
injury,
much better.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Don't worry about Jamal Murray being hurt. Don't worry about Ryan Saunders, who couldn't even make Anthony Edwards look good when he was a rookie. Don't worry about all of that's fake. All of that's fake. We're about to. It's going to be Jokic's coach now. Jokic's coach.
You know who's the coach? This is veteran leadership. So you need someone who knows what it takes to win an MVP, not Jokic. You need veteran leadership. You need a point guard to slow things down. You need someone with athleticism, and you need someone who is not scared. Russell Westbrook, player coach. Saunders is going to elevate Russell Westbrook, and this is going to be his pièce de résistance. This is going to be Russell Westbrook's ring. This is about to be a fucking cinema. This is a Disney movie lining up right now. I'm just saying, you can't argue that if the Denver Nuggets win the title this year, it's the greatest sports story of all time.
It's certainly going to be up there. You know, they'll probably have some sort of. First off, we haven't had a coach get fired since David Blatt and Ty Lue won that title, right?
No,
that was the last time we had.
That was the last time. I also just want to.
I think he's the only one ever, if I remember correctly.
quick.
Oh, that's not true. So hold on, Stan Van Gundy. Also, I think Pat Riley.
Oh yeah,
those two.
I also want to take a quick sidebar that SH came here into the comments to yell at Owen to come back into the Discord so he could fight with him.
Amazing.
Subscribe to the Unoball Discord.
Yeah, generational talents happening in there.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is cooked for me. For the Nuggets are cooked. And once again, have I done this before? And then Jokic made me look like an idiot a week later. Yes, and I will still be. I will not be Owens fighting calling Jokic again. I mean, Russell Westbrook is old enough to be a coach. I mean, he's so old that he was in college in 2008.
Yeah.
How gross is that?
Vile. Yeah.
Honestly, he should probably be put down for being so old. He was in college when MGMT came out with their first album.
Can you imagine? Gross. Can you imagine if there was an NBA head coach in their 30s and trying to win the title with that?
It would be gross.
Yeah.
Really gross. Disgusting. Leave that to the NFL. We don't.
Bill asks, aren't most people that old married with kids? No, that is it's fake. That's made up. Actually, like most people who are 35 are like single and like playing Muv-Luv on Steam. The lovely VN Sim Dater.
Most people are. Some people save up for their 401k. Most people in their 30, especially right now, not a great time to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Most people that are 35 are saving up for the Switch too when those new tariffs hit.
Yeah. And
that's actually a really normal thing to do.
Yeah. We're going to do, I'm going to Quicken Loans right now. We're getting my Rocket mortgage on my Switch 2, which will be $4,600 after tariffs.
And then I'll be doing payment plans on all my DoorDash.
God.
That's probably the grimmest thing I've seen recently.
Yeah.
When people were like, oh, you could do payments on your DoorDash now? I'm like, what world do we live in?
Financing DoorDash.
Your $40 worth of Taco Bell. Jesus Christ. All right, do not jump over there. All right, hold on. All right, so on for the Nuggets. The Nuggets, I think it's Jover for them. We spent 30 minutes on that. So let's move on to the next thing here. Actually, let me let my cat out first. He's gonna be making noise if I don't. So
I'll introduce. So Trill sent me a list. We all know it's end of season award seasons. A lot of you joined Trill for the Zach Lowe comeback stream yesterday, where he and Beck went over their awards. Everybody loved that podcast. Everybody talked about how much they love listening to Howard Beck talk about the NBA. So
wait, did I just call him? Did I just say Saunders is the assistant coach and it's actually David Adelman?
Is it David Adelman? Oh,
I literally just said it was Saunders I don't know why I thought it was Ryan Saunders. It's Adelman. I was wrong. It's the other Nepo baby son.
Fuck, it's Ware. Sorry, guys.
That bit is completely ruined. God damn it.
Yeah, sorry.
Well, I know so much about David Adelman, so I'm sure that he'll be fine.
I'm not gonna lie. I was like, oh, is that who it was? Like, I thought it was someone else, but I just was letting you cook. I'm never wrong.
Chat was like, yeah, just let him go with it.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. It doesn't actually matter who's the head coach of the Denver Nuggets now.
We do so many bits that we could just be incorrect for like 12 minutes at a time, and everyone's like, yeah, this bit is. They're gonna pay. There's gonna be a hell of a punchline here at some point.
So.
Anyway, but what we are doing, in that spirit, we are doing our own.
No. I have information before we get into the awards.
Sure.
You're gonna need to be locked in for this one.
I'm locked in.
Conspiracy Trail is here, folks.
Okay, here we go.
So, during the Final Four game the other night, Malawash was informed that South Sudan and America having a little bit of a falling out, if you will. They might end up having to take away Malawash's visa, and he might have to go back to South Sudan. This news broke during the game.
I'm just gonna say, I think what you're about to say is literally what one of my bosses told me at work today. We were talking about the game.
Okay, so here's my theory.
Yeah.
Do you want to guess what the Raptors' record is since
oh my God.
January 20th, 2025, the day that Donald Trump was elected president?
I think it's actually like pretty good, isn't it? Aren't they like...
They're one game above 500. They're 19 and 18. So let's just say this team that had like 9 wins at the time, I think they had 9 or 10 wins at this time in the season.
They might fuck me in the over-unders. Like, that's still on the table. They might actually go over if they win 2 of their next 3.
Well, if there was one person that knows that South Sudan and America's relations aren't going to go great, that's in the NBA.
It's true.
Probably the guy who runs NBA Africa, is my thought, right?
Yep.
Masai Ujiri, the Toronto Raptors. And he probably figured if we don't jump up to 1 or 2 to get Flagg or Harper, we have Malawash third on our board anyway. And he can't play anywhere in America.
Oh. Interesting.
So we might as well win some games.
Yeah.
Might as well win some games. But even if we get the 8th or 9th pick in the draft, it doesn't matter because no other teams could draft Malawa.
Are they going to take him in the 2nd round then? Because no other team, like they're the only team that can take him then.
I had that thought. I don't think that they would allow it to go that far. But they could they just keep trading back? Could they be like, all right, we have the 8th pick in the draft. Let's trade that for the 17th pick and a future first. And then trade the 17th pick for the 25th pick and a future some seconds. And then we take Malawash because we're the only team that's allowed to draft him in Canada.
Oh, man. So wait, are the Raptors, are trades with the Raptors going to be tariffed, by the way?
It's possible that they're going to have to build that into the trade, into the finances of it.
Donald Trump saying they've been very unfair to us. Sent a great American and Brandon Ingram to them, and what did we get back? A nasty Kelly Olynyk. Terrible Canadian. Tiny arms. He's got tiny arms.
Bruce Brown. He's one of the worst players in the league this year. I don't know why that turned into Bill immediately.
They call him Boisterous Bruce. Boisterous Bruce. He's bouncing, folks. He's bouncing on the seat because he always sits. He's always hurt.
But just stay woke. Stay woke. Stay woke. All I'm saying.
That's a great point.
That's a conspiracy trail right there. I'm just saying, keep it in mind when we come up to draft time that he can only play for one team, the team in Canada. And Masai's got the connect, so that's why they haven't been tanking. They knew they were going to take him if he ended up falling in the draft due to his immigration status. So,
by the way, before we start there, do you want to take your victory lap for once again defeating me in the Pick'em this year?
Oh no, it's fine. It's fine. I expected it, you know.
Okay. All right.
I actually didn't, because at one point on the over-unders, you were beating me, and I was like, man, I did terrible on the over-unders this year. Turns out everyone did.
Well,
for what we're used to.
You actually did really well. You did like right in line with, if it happens the way I think it's going to happen with the Pacers, Grizzlies, almost all of those are guaranteed. Like all of those teams only need one win, Boston, Pacers, and Grizzlies. And then the Raptors are the weird one where they win 2 out of their last 3. That would be a loss for you, but that's like what I'm expecting. You're probably going to finish. You're either going to finish 19-11 or 20-10.
Wow.
Again, and I after bitching and moaning about how bad I was doing this year, I'm actually going to beat my record from last year. So we actually did okay. So
okay. Well, I thought we were going to do much worse. Me
too.
We rebounded in Mickey Mouse March. Clearly,
I was going to say everything got weird like in Mickey Mouse March. So where a lot of some of those like really came together down. Like the Pacers pulling their thumb out of their ass was huge for us.
Also, Keith Smith used Mickey Mouse March on Blue Sky today.
Let's go.
He said some people say that March and April don't matter at all because of Mickey Mouse March. And I said, that's right, Keith. You can Venmo me $40 for using this term. That's copyrighted, bitch.
Yeah, copyrighted. He's getting double hit because he lives in Orlando. So they're fucking they're coming. They're sending the Disney goons after him.
Yeah, they're getting. Oh, duh. Yeah. I'm in cahoots with Disney, obviously.
Yes.
Which is why, unlike Howard Beck, we will not be able to say fuck on this podcast like we're in 7th grade.
So funny.
All right, let's get into it. 2nd annual Uniball Awards. Bill Simmons obviously stole this idea from us.
Yeah, he always does.
And
like all the good ideas. Yeah, Bill stole it from us. Yeah.
Bill stole it from us. He did it on his podcast before we got the chance to do it this year. But in honor of that, the first award for the Uniball Awards is the Bill Simmons, this guy really gives a shit award. So we have a list of players that Bill and people with Bill's mindset would love because they really give a shit. Dogs, guys who really hustle generally is the theme here, I would say.
Yeah.
The
famous previous recipients of this: Herb Jones,
Marcus Smart.
Well,
Bill wouldn't give it.
Bill wouldn't do it, but
yeah. But that kind of player. So here's my list of this guy really gives a shit award nominees. Lou Dort.
Yeah.
Dyson Daniels. Josh Hart. Both the Thompson twins, who, by the way, Bill said Amen Thompson is the unicorn of the NBA.
Yeah, he said he's the most unique, the most original, unique. There's not a player in the NBA anything like Amen Thompson.
There's nothing. His game, his athleticism, his DNA could not be copied.
We've never seen a player look like Amen Thompson. Bill doing the inverse of my fucking Asar Thompson bit is awesome.
Amazing.
He's so cool.
Absolutely amazing.
Yep.
And then the last guy on here was my guy Tari Eason. Oh, I also had Musa Diabate. Is that how you say his name?
Yeah, I believe so, yes.
Okay. He led the league in offensive rebounding and got an NBA contract this year. So I think that he had to be included at least as an honorable mention. But I had Tari Eason, the Thompson twins, Musa, Josh Hart, Dyson Daniels, and Lou Dort.
It's a good list. Also on my list, Jalen Williams. I think he's a guy who like really gives a shit and is really good at. Why are you looking at me like that? Jalen Williams is.
How did you slip in Jalen Williams slander into this category? There's plenty of other ones.
No, Jalen Williams. He's been really good this year. Have you like seen some of like his advanced stats? This is a team that won 64, probably going to win like 66 games.
67.
I know Chet is like going to win MVP, but like you don't get there Shea is probably going to win MVP and like
Chet's hard for you. They have Chet's 2 MVPs, really, so you forget.
Yeah, well, and here's the thing is it's like I don't know, like what you think Shea just like did this all on his own? Like you think he's alone and giving a shit? Because I think Shea is definitely a guy who gives a shit. Alex Caruso is a guy who gives a shit. You brought up Lou Dort. let's not sleep on like Jalen Williams. Like I want to give this guy his flowers, man. Like he's had a heck of a season. So
number one Jalen Williams fan, J-Dub.
Yeah.
Sam Sheehan. Yeah. If I know anything about Sam, he's a ride or die for the good Jalen Williams.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Thank you for giving him his flowers.
I just wanted to like give him his flowers. Like we don't have to agree on that, but I wanted to shout him out.
Yeah. He doesn't get his flowers enough. So who do you think should win this award this year? Based on the players that we just named.
Of the things, I do kind of feel like I do kind of like Lou Dort. I do think Amen Thompson's like been playing with a lot of edge lately. I just think Dyson Daniels is kind of like has kind of arrived as like a give a shit disruptor type guy. So he would probably be.
How about this though? In 5 years from now, who could you see us naming this award after? It's Lou Dort.
It is Lou Dort. I mean, the Power Cube is an unreal nickname. Like I love that.
The Meat Cube.
The Meat Cube. That was, I'm not kidding. In college, that was his nickname, was the Power Cube.
It's amazing.
And the Dorcher Chamber is really good too, but like
I love that.
That's a good one. Oh, we didn't bring up Ron Holland.
Honorable mention to Ron Holland.
Yeah.
Rookie. I think he's going to be a guy that really gives a shit going forward. I think right now he's probably too young to be into consideration for this.
Beef Stew does not count. Beef Stew does not care unless there's a fight, in which case he extremely cares.
Yeah. Beef Stew can get the Alexander Ovechkin hockey most likely to be a hockey player award.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. He is hockey coded in many ways.
So I think it's Lou Dort for here. In my opinion, I think Lou Dort should win this one.
I won't fight you on it. I would lean Dyson Daniels. But yeah, Dort probably has the highest level of dog, and he did kind of own me, like because I thought his shooting was fake. And he had another really good shooting year. So at a certain point, you gotta kind of
I'm still a little skeptical on his shooting, to be honest, but. In the playoffs at least, but defensively takes the best player assignment almost every night. Yep. Really gives a shit. Lou Dort really gives a shit. He was undrafted.
Literally really give a shit.
He's an undrafted player. I think he's the only
one. Was he
undrafted? Yeah.
Really?
Lou Dort did not get drafted.
I'm thinking of Melton. Melton's who I'm thinking of.
No, he was a second round pick.
Yeah, he was a second round pick.
Dort was 2019. He was an undrafted free agent. So that is peak guy who gives a shit. Went from undrafted guy to starter on one of the best teams in NBA history.
Yeah. All right. Getting defensive player of the year buzz too. A lot of these guys,
not sure if he deserves it, but still, to go from that is like the ultimate bet on yourself, Tim Donaghy style guy.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Jonte Porter is jealous of how much this guy bets on himself.
Porter bet on yourself.
Fuck, I should have had that.
Yeah, damn it.
Okay. The Trey Young, this next award is called the Trey Young Award. Mm-hmm. The guy who was so overrated, he's underrated now.
I like this one.
I did not pick Trey Young.
Yeah.
But it is named after Trey Young. Russell Westbrook, DeAndre Hunter, Sabonis, Paolo Banchero, Tyrese Halliburton, and Tyler Hero.
It's a really good list. I tried to add try to think of like another person on here, but I really think Hunter especially, I was going back because of I tried to like listen to our over-unders pod from like the beginning of the year just to like kind of try to get a feel for like what we thought before the year and like what changed. And one of the things was in the Atlanta thing, we were taking it was led by me, but we were taking so many shots at DeAndre Hunter. And it's like so funny how like
turned himself into a 6th man of the year candidate.
Yeah.
Is on one of the best teams in the NBA now and has really helped them.
Yep. He's really like come back around and kind of changed himself like into something else. The only one I was kind of thinking of, although I think it's a little bit too long. I was going to say Harden as like maybe one for this one.
I feel like Harden just kind of became more of an afterthought more than anything else
over
the last few years. I don't really think that anyone thought that Harden was, I guess, you know what? I think I'll put Harden on there. I think that's fair. I think
Hijacked also says Dame, which is, I think it's similar.
Yeah, that's not a bad one, actually. Dame isn't a horrible one. Because actually, what was amazing, I don't know if you listened to the stream that I did yesterday, but Damian Lillard has a higher true shooting than Steph Curry this year.
That's pretty nuts.
He has a 62.4 true shooting.
I mean, but then again, like, as he should, like, he has Giannis on his team. Like, Steph Curry has Podziemski. I guess he has Jimmy now, so it's less pronounced as it was the other year. Another one that I think is like interesting. Kevin Durant? How do you classify Kevin Durant at this point? Like, was he underrated? Is he overrated? Like, I don't know how to like.
I would lean closer to overrated, and I love KD.
Yeah.
But like, and once again, it sounds insane because he had an amazing statistical season.
Yeah.
But it is going to go down as one of the like most forgotten scoring seasons of all time because they stink.
Yeah.
And he doesn't do anything but score now. Yeah. Like before you had other elements of his game that like the defense and the fact that like a large amount of I think part of this is definitely the roster construction, to be clear too. Like having Booker and Beal as his other best two players is obviously not going to maximize his game, but like, I don't know. Like they're the 11 seed. Like, is he really going to make all NBA this year? Like that's a legacy all NBA.
I was going to say, I don't think he is though, because I think like the people who vote on this stuff, and I don't like, normally I get annoyed when like the media accounts for this stuff, but I don't think you can totally write like, you are kind of like sulking and like yelling at your coach and like being shitty. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
You're supposed to be the leader. Like I don't think he's like innocent in some of that. So I don't hate on, like, I normally don't like love doing the like, oh, we're punishing you for like not being a good soldier, like shit. Like, but like, I mean, you did force your way out of two situations, and now this one's going bad. It's like it's very guy in the hot dog suit. Like, we're all trying to find the guy who did this. So
I do just have to read his numbers really quickly.
Sure.
He's unbelievable, dude.
Yeah.
He's shooting 72.8% at the rim, 53.7% on high volume from the mid range, and 43% from three this year. How are they bad? Like,
I don't know.
Like, once again, I really think it just comes down to all he cares about is getting buckets now. Like, that's the only part of his game he focuses on. No hustle shit, no defense, no like. He's just like, I'm going to get my buckets and I'm going to vibe out and have fun and sometimes yell at my coach.
All right. Last two real quick. Okay. I do Kawhi Leonard. Does the injuries
just hurt?
Yeah. I was going to say, is it just injuries at that point?
Yeah, that's just, I don't really think that anyone thinks he is underrated or overrated. He's just unavailable.
Yeah. And
when he is available, he's awesome.
Yeah, I guess that's still,
especially when he has like 10 games to warm up, 15 games to warm up.
Yeah, and I don't know. Well, I'm ready to be reckless about the Clippers whenever we start talking about the playoffs. But anyway.
Was that your last guy?
No, and then just one more. I just do think we need to bring up Jalen Williams here. I think that he's like really. I think he's kind of. I don't know. Like I feel like he kind of got overrated, but now like with all of the playoff like stuff, he's become like a little bit underrated again, you know? And I feel like we need to kind of like really take into consideration like what he's done this year and kind of, you know, make like reevaluate kind of how we're looking at him in the aggregate and in the long term, you know, like I'm not going to push for him to be on this team, but like I just want to like bring his name up.
I just want to say it is a transcendent experience watching Jalen Williams play basketball.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%.
I feel like I leave my body sometimes watching Jalen Williams play basketball.
I don't know, like what you would. I'm kind of surprised like Ball Don't Stop doesn't like bring him up more often. I don't even think he's like ever brought him up necessarily, but like I don't know. I just wanted to like get him. You know, I just wanted to like give him his flowers. You know, like it's a little bit of a, you know, under the radar. Only people who are like really watching the league are gonna like know about this. But you know, like this is the nerd pick, the dork pick. You know, so I just wanted to like bring him up. I think for this one, my vote for this one, I think I want to go Paolo. To be totally honest.
Well, we're never going to agree on this because I think Paolo's a good one because calculator rats are like he's the worst player in the NBA. And I just think that he had a weird year. And I think that I definitely think there are. All right. I would like to see Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner play with a single plus offensive guard for one time in their entire career before we're like writing their careers and what they're going to be.
It's not 1-to-1, but it does kind of feel like the Tatum shit. You know, there's like very different stuff that they do, but like I'm just saying, like young Paolo, the way young Paolo is like dissected. There's weird things, there's like red flags, there's some of this stuff, but like I feel like he kind of gets like lost in the shuffle in terms of like I think if he qualified, he and Franz would both kind of be strong third team all NBA guys, like candidates this year. Like
I don't know about that.
I over a full season, I don't know. Like I think
maybe if they didn't have injuries, but also like their injuries affected their play is the thing. Too. Yeah. Like they both were not the same after.
That's what I'm saying. They were like kind of like playing through.
And Paolo got it so early that like maybe that was just a hot shooting streak in the first like 3 games of the season. Their offense was like the worst in the league.
If they do anything remotely good this offseason, I'm going to be like tripling. They're going to like I'm going like all in on them next offseason. I think that people have forgotten about the Magic. And I think people.
I just can't take them seriously until they have a real guard. I'm just like yeah. But also
think it's really easy to get though. You know, like so.
It actually is unironically one of the easier should be one of the easier archetypes to. Yeah, like, you should be able to find a Kobe White player.
Right. Exactly.
But the Bulls won't trade him. So, but either way, I'll give you Paolo on this one.
Okay.
Because
what were you gonna say?
We're just never gonna agree. Because I was gonna say
Halliburton.
I was gonna say Halliburton. Yeah.
Halliburton's been wrong.
Incredible. He's gonna make All NBA despite missing the All-Star team.
You know what though? I would give it because honestly, he was second on my list. Like when I went through the list, because honestly, it was genuinely very impressive how dog shit he was to start the year, and that he's going to make second team All NBA.
Yeah, all right. We'll go Paolo for this one, but runner up with Halliburton.
Yeah, I was gonna say
if you people never thought that people. All right, so people clowned Halliburton because they thought he was kind of lame, but I don't really.
He's objectively,
and also he started off the year on like a cold shooting streak. Yep. But I don't really think that there's anyone out here that was like he sucks, and there are people that really thinks Paolo sucks.
That's true.
Yeah, so that's the difference. All right. The flip side of this, the Jrue Holiday Award. The guy who's so underrated that he's now overrated. I think we have to name that after Jrue at this point.
Okay.
Okay. So I have.
This is a great list that you have here.
Lauri Markkanen, Brook Lopez, Jakob Poeltl, Mikal Bridges, Dean Wade, and Emmanuel Quickley. Dean Wade plays like 30 games a year.
That's a Zach Lowe, like that is a direct 1-to-1 Zach Lowe, like creating something that
it is, but also there are like nerds that are like, oh, his rebounding and his rim protection and his shooting.
You can say,
and I'm
Will.
like,
you can say,
Will. There's Ethan in the YKB Discord who talks about this. I'm like, bro, can you play more than 30 games one time in your entire fucking career? And can you crack 22 minutes a game?
Yeah. It is like very funny. I found this like very funny that you went through. It's like all stars or sub all stars, and then Dean Wade catching one of the most vile strays of all time.
The way that nerds talk about Dean Wade, I'm like, can you give it a rest? Like he's a fine player.
Yeah,
bro. He plays 21. He actually played 56. Apologies to Dean Wade.
Yeah,
he played 56. Minutes. He only averaged 21 minutes a game though. And here's his career averages since he became a rotation player. 19 minutes, 19 minutes, 20 minutes, 20 minutes, 21 minutes. Yeah. Yet if you talk to a nerd about this guy, you would think that he's basically, I don't know, a better version of Michael Porter Jr.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway. Seriously. No, he's like that's like a very interesting one.
Booker's an interesting one.
Ooh.
Cause I got to kind of take the L on that one. Yeah. Because I thought Booker could have been 2 years ago. I was like, oh, Booker is like going to be approaching a top 5 player. And
I thought he was there. I thought he kind of had that like soft sewed up 2 years ago that like I was like Tatum's 4 and he's 5. And now no.
SGA leaped him.
Yeah.
There are a few guys. Some of it is team context. That obviously is we just talked about it with Durant. It's obviously not a clean fit.
Yeah.
But I think Devin Booker's name needs to be included on here because if you go from like, I think you're going to be a top 5 guy or in that conversation to like a top 25 guy, it's a bad look.
Yeah. Can I do a forbidden one? Can we talk about
I had someone on here and I took them off and I can't remember who it is. I took them off because they were literally cooking since I wrote it down.
Are we sure that there's not a spot for Luka Doncic on this list?
I mean, did anyone ever think Luka was underrated? I think they just thought he was really good.
I mean, I think that like, you know, there was a little bit of like, there's a little pushback to the pushback, you know, like it's like, oh, Luka's like definitely like first team, like NBA. There's like all this other stuff. Like, I gotta say, I expected a little bit more out of Luka than we have gotten on the Lakers so far. I'm just like,
you're not wrong.
I am a little not alarmed. I'm not. I was getting ready to go into the playoffs and be like, yep, the Lakers are like for the like to surprise make the Lakers my final pick just because I believe in talent being so important in the playoffs. But like watching Lakers games, I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm a little something, and it's like, you know, maybe he's not like tremendously overrated, but are we sure like Luka's a top 5 player and not like he
hasn't been this year,
top 10 player? Yeah, is what I'm saying. Like he's like, has he been like a top 15 player this year? Like,
so I think that that's fair. I mean, I also think that how much do we chalk up to the injury stuff, but also how much of the injury stuff is just Luka not giving a shit? Like, how much is Nico Harrison vindicated here?
Yes. Again, you do not have to hand it to the Terra Group ISIL. However,
because I think we're about to start the playoffs, and then you're gonna in 2 weeks you're gonna be like, literally, you're gonna be arguing the exact opposite, and that the Lakers are gonna beat OKC in the second round.
100% luck
that will happen. I will forget that I brought this up. And
I'll say this. Yeah. Luka is the first high T player in the NBA who's high sweet tea. Folks, have you heard this one?
I like that. That's I'm standing Seinfeld laugh track. I'm whooping. Yeah, that's a good one.
So who do we think? I'll rerun down the list here again. Lauri Markkanen, Brook Lopez, Jakob Poeltl, Mikal Bridges, Dean Wade, Emmanuel Quickley, Devin Booker, and I'll give you Luka Doncic.
You'll give me Luka. Can I just want to do like one. He probably like doesn't belong on this list, but like I do think like Jalen Williams is another guy we kind of got to talk about as someone who's like available like in this spot. You know, like I'm gonna go through the games played. Okay, so like 75 his rookie year, 71 last year, and like there's like 4 games left, so like 67, but it's like it's come down a little bit, and he was an all-star this year. The 2-point percentage has come down. It was 57 both of his first 2 years, almost 58 his rookie year, and now it's all the way down to like 52. I don't know, it's just something you know, we don't have to go there. I wanted to like mention him. I wanted to like bring him up. I wanted to give him his flowers in this part. So
all right, who do you think should win the award?
Let me see. $40 million. I don't know, like, because the thing is, objectively, like the first like half of the year, this was Mikal Bridges' like award to lose. Like Mikal Bridges was running away from this, like through the first like half of the year. Like Knicks fans were alarmed. They were scared. I do think he's like kind of stabilized things like a little bit. I'm sorry. I think it's got to be Lauri Markkanen at this point. Is kind of where my instincts lie on this one.
This just got the max contract.
I was just gonna say, I think
a year ago we were talking about him being traded for like a pick haul and all this shit. I told them they should have done it because I was like, you're so far away. He's still the best player on that team, and I wouldn't even be like he's a surefire top 40 player in the NBA.
Yeah, and I mean, we've done our spiel on like the Jazz and how they're like quietly kind of fucked because they don't have any like upside, but it's also like their max player is not really like a max player. We talked about the Masai Ujiri, like the waiting a year too long to trade your guys that he did with OG and Pascal, and like he could have gotten a lot more value if he'd have traded him the year before. Danny Ainge is like even worse. He could have gotten real fucking return for like Lauri Markkanen if he had traded him to the Warriors like 2 years ago. Could have gotten like some of these packages, some of these other things, and now he's just kind of like, I don't know, like can Lauri Markkanen be like the second best player on a champion? I hate to do that reductive. What is he on a championship?
No,
team?
he was probably always the third best player on it.
And even then, like, are you sure he's like the third? Like, are we sure like he's better than like he's more available? But are we sure he's like better than Kristaps Porzingis? Like, I'm not a Kristaps guy. Like,
but I mean, also I jokingly said that Dean Wade is like he is basically a better Michael Porter Jr.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And Michael Porter Jr. was the third or fourth best player on a championship team. So,
we're not talking about the national team because the Finland national team, like he's Michael Jordan. That's,
undeniable.
He's inevitable. This is just NBA I'm doing right here. So,
SH asked, did you start watching basketball again, Sam? Because you're on a heater.
Okay. That's I'm locking in. It's
playoff time. It's time for Sam to care about the NBA.
It's playoff time. I deactivated the Hinge profile. I'm locked in. There's no
that's the only reason he deactivated it.
That's the only reason.
No distractions.
Too many. It kept ruining my phone because of all the notifications.
Like the night that Shams got the Luka trade and he couldn't use his phone because he had so many notifications. Yeah. That's Sam's Hinge on like a Thursday night. He's trying to watch like Celtics Raptors.
Yeah, like a Monday or a Tuesday or something like that. It's honestly, it's not Hinge, it's Raya that's doing that.
Oh,
and
right.
It's like, honestly, it wouldn't be as bad if I could like block some people like Emily Ratajkowski, like always triple, quadruple.
Are you
couple messaging?
Are you in Silver Lake?
Yeah. Why are you not like messaging me back? Like the Dua Lipa sneaky link. I'm sorry to blow her up like that. I forgot this wasn't a Patreon episode.
Oops.
Yeah, it's just
you could be one of like 4 people in Maine that could join Raya. Unironically, I'm pretty sure the podcast could enough clout that you probably could.
I do have a link. I did get a rec, but I will not use it. I'm not like that's like cheating the game. You know what I'm saying?
Sam, come on.
If I'm being honest, it feels bad. It feels like it shouldn't.
Clout
that's like
Sam.
That's like Bronny getting in the league. You know what I'm saying? It's a very similar thing. Like I don't want everyone like, oh, that's cute. He got on there.
Good. Put your credits in your bio.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So the Zach Lowe guy, Zach's back. The nerd favorite, the Zach Lowe guy award, which is I think Jalen Williams and Naz Reid both have graduated from this category.
Yes.
But we should give Jalen Williams a shout out just as recognition.
I just like, let me just run through some of just Jalen Williams' numbers. Okay. Like,
all right, for time's sake.
I'm just saying he's like shit. Let's just like give him his flowers though. Okay. Like 3.3 like million, I just want to, okay. Anyway, he's graduated from this. So,
all right. So the players for the Jalen Williams, Naz Reid annual Zach Lowe guy award, the nerd favorite, are Toumani Camara, Bilal Coulibaly, Amen Thompson, Santi Aldama, Andrew Nembhard, Keon Ellis, Jake LaRavia, and Dyson Daniels.
Okay. Dyson Daniels, that's a good one. I'm trying to think. Toumani Camara was going to be the other one, but I think you added him. Yeah, so that was going to be like my big addition there. Mm-hmm. Did you add? Is Jalen Wells? He's too
not
young?
He's a rookie. I didn't have any rookies.
He's too young to be on here because he will be a Zach Lowe like feature guy that comes up a lot.
Jalen Wells,
yeah. Jalen Wells is definitely going to be one. It's going to be on there a lot. I guess that's it. Do we do Obi Toppin?
No, he's not a nerd favorite.
He's a Zach Lowe favorite.
Yeah, but not a nerd favorite.
Yeah,
this is how we know Zach's in his Jordan Wizards era.
Yeah.
A little bit. Having Howard Beck as your first guest, and then you're like, I like Obi Toppin.
Did you see who his next guest is, by the way? Somebody put it in the chat.
Mark Stein.
Funnier.
Oh, HP basketball.
Yeah.
Of course. Great.
Awesome.
Awesome.
I will be seated. I will be feated and seated for that.
Yeah, Mateo said, thank God he left ESPN so he didn't have to have terrible guests on all the time.
How about is Nickeil Alexander-Walker a guy we want to put on here?
Ooh, that's a good one. I did not remember him.
Yeah.
But that's a very good one. Is a great one.
That's a great, like, he's about to get paid. Like, so I think.
So in 2 years, everyone will say he's an overrated loser. But for right now, Ty Jerome, that's a good one.
Ty Jerome's a great one. Yep.
Yeah. It's another good one. We'll add him to the lists.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I mean, honestly, I think that my vote for this is Toumani Camara. I think Toumani Camara, because everyone we named was either like a high pick or has been around for a little bit. Toumani Camara is in year 2, was a second round pick, was involved in a big trade with a bunch of other names and turned out to maybe be the best player in that trade.
Yeah.
Because that was not part of it technically was part of the Dame trade, but it was basically Ayton and whatever. Right. But I think that it's Toumani Camara. And I want to talk a little bit about other than some other Blazers news. Joe Cronin got an extension.
Guaranteed fired next year.
1 year?
1 year. I'm telling the number one canary in the coal mine for a GM getting fired is they get extended.
Troy Weaver, Daryl Morey might be getting that this offseason.
Yeah.
A year after he got extended.
Yeah.
It's certainly not a good. Calvin Booth's contract was actually expiring. Was the one thing.
Yeah. Well,
so he didn't.
That's why the owners.
Or maybe it was Mike Malone's contract was expiring.
No, I think it was Booth's. I think
Booth didn't get extended after winning the championship.
No,
that's wild.
Yeah.
Imagine winning the championship in your first year.
Yeah.
And you don't get extended.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, they were
kind
of right.
They were kind of right. Like, yeah, they're insane bagmen. You know what I'm saying? Just because they're just. This is one of those things where it's like, I hate the Nuggets stuff because it's like.
This is a very good point. The Cronkies would never fire a GM if there was still money left on his contract.
They fired him with 5 games to go on the contract. That's awesome.
They're like, by the way, we want that money back too.
Look, we're committed to the team. We fired Calvin Booth once we realized that he wasn't the guy to do it. Yeah. The other one I was gonna say, because the thing is, I was gonna make a push for Amen Thompson, but I think he's gone too mainstream now.
Yeah, I mean, he's like in the Defensive Player of the Year conversation.
Yeah, like
he's gonna make all defense. Yeah. He was a top pick too. That's why, because like nerds love to be like, here's a guy no one else knows about.
Yes, exactly.
That's a big part of it. One of the reasons why Naz Reid was such a favorite was because he was undrafted. He was cool. Toumani's kind of in that lane of like not a high pick. Was not a high-profile college player, even though I forgot that he actually played with Anthony Edwards at Georgia for a year before he transferred to Dayton. But also, like, such a Parm guy named Toumani Camara. Yeah. It literally was I don't know if he was a Parm guy, but he was definitely on Parm's radar during that draft.
Yeah.
But I just want to talk about the Cronin extension very quickly.
Yeah.
Why? I mean, I guess his contract was expiring, so it was either they let it expire and he walks or he gets a new contract. But like, I don't think he's done a particularly good job. Do you think that the Denny Avdija trade was? I love the Denny trade for them, and I liked it at the time. Do you think it was that? I think they're kind of stuck. Maybe they make a trade this offseason that gets them unstuck, but like, and maybe there's someone who really pops from this young core, but like. I think especially Russillo and Simmons. Look, Scoot is not a bust, but like not a full bust. But like, can we pump the brakes a little bit? With like, I don't even know if he's good.
Yeah,
and he was the third pick in the draft, 1 pick before Amen Thompson.
Yeah,
once again, I would have done that. I had Amen 3rd on my board. I had Scoot 2nd on my board. I'm not set, but I'm not the GM of the team.
Yeah. Exactly. I was going to say the retroactive stuff. I mean, here's what I'll say. Bringing in DeAndre Ayton was not good. I don't like that. I think that was not great.
The Jeremy Grant contract is one of the worst in the league.
Yeah, that's
the Anthony
terrible.
Simons contract is whatever, but like not great.
It's fine. Yeah, I was gonna say,
I thought it was okay at the time, and it's been fine.
Yeah. I do think getting Klingon was pretty good for where they were.
Ayton got you off Nurkic. He signed the Nurkic extension.
Yeah,
he also signed the Nas Little extension. He's like out of the NBA.
Yeah. Yeah. Just saying the Shaden pick is aggressively mid. I kind of disagree. I think Shaden's like a pretty good pick for where they 7th, I think is where they picked
The
him.
only other player that you could even argue should have went there was Jalen Williams. And by the way, go back and watch that draft. Jalen Williams was not. He was not
projected in like the 20s. Yeah.
Yeah. He was, if anything, people thought that they reached at like 12 or 13 where he went.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, you got to give Jalen Williams his flowers, like that he kind of turned himself into, that kind of a player. At that point in the draft.
I think the Sharp pick is totally fine. I actually think Sharp and Klingon are probably the best high picks that he's had so far.
Yeah.
Sharp, I'll give him credit for, because that was kind of a swing.
Yeah.
Klingon was kind of chalk to me. Like, it was a fine pick and it's return value, but like, he was very clearly one of the 2 or 3 best players on the board, right?
Yeah. Here's what I'll say about Cronin. I don't think he's necessarily been bad because like the Jeremy Grant is the only like really bad thing. Like the Ayton thing, he'll be gone at the end of next year, whatever. He's going to be an expiring contract. Who cares? Like maybe you can get some like money for them. He didn't give up Josh Hart for nothing. If I'm remembering that correctly, right?
You got the pick that became Chris Murray and Cam Reddish for Josh Hart. He also salary dumped Nickeil Alexander-Walker to the Jazz. Yeah, that was more like no one knew Nickeil Alexander-Walker was going to be good. But in the phase where they were at when they made that trade, because that was the CJ McCollum trade, I don't know. I don't think he's been that good. I don't really think that he's been like. I think that once again, the Scoot thing. I'm not saying that I wouldn't have done the same thing. What I'm saying is GMs get judged based on their top picks being bad.
Yeah, we would be fired too, is what we're saying.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And also, I think about this all the time because the things that he's done well are like the Toumani Camara thing, the Denny Avdia thing. I have to hand it to him for finding value for guys who should have been more valued. For example, like Denny's a perfect example of someone who probably should have been valued by the team he was on. Toumani was a throw into the trade and turned out to be great. That's awesome.
Well, also, by the way, the actual trade for Jeremy Grant was pretty good. It was the extension that was bad.
Was literally just one like late first.
Yeah.
For Jeremy Grant, which was like totally fine. It was just the extension that was bad.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is he's had a hit or miss. But like my whole thing with the Cronin thing is like I think Mike Schmitz is probably a big part of like finding these guys like Toumani.
Yeah.
And like a lot of their draft moves are probably Schmitz.
Shaden Sharp was
definitely a Schmitz move because no one watched Shaden Sharp. Like you had to be like a draft Twitter sicko to know who he is because he didn't play in college.
Yeah.
But the reason why I'm saying this is that do you think that Mike Schmitz loses sleep at night over the Amen Thompson Scoot thing? Because I think deep down, if you gave him true serum, he probably would have been like, I would prefer, like, he loves the athletic guys.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I bet he was.
Like all the guys they've acquired, Toumani, Denny, Sharp, like they're all super athletic guys.
I bet he was advocating for that, like, and again,
Scoot was kind of the chalk pick.
That's what I would say. Like Scoot,
this is completely revisionist history.
Scoot dropping to 3, I was like, I can't believe the Hornets did it again. They took Brandon Miller. You know what I'm saying? It was the same thing as the Keegan Murray pick when Ivy was on the board, where I was like, oh my God, the Kangs are gonna Kang. Like they've ruined their franchise taking Keegan Murray instead of generational talent, Jaden Ivey,
which is proven to be true in time.
Well, again, and this is why I just want to. Everyone was giving me shit for saying it's okay to get an average player with the 4th pick when we did our mock boards last night. It is. It's fine to get a starter there.
On average, yes. With the 4th pick in the draft.
Yes.
You're probably
Amen
right.
Thompson
I would
happen all the time.
Sam would undeniably get the Joe Cronin extension. That's what the conclusion of this is.
Yeah.
I would be Calvin Booth. I might win a championship, but I'll probably lose my job immediately afterwards.
I was gonna say you're kind of no, I was gonna say Masai. Who takes the biggest swings for GMs?
Every GM's kind of a bitch now.
Yeah.
Seems like, honestly, it's probably Presti.
Yeah.
But he also has so much margin for.
That's the thing, is
because he has every pick.
Nobody remembers fucking, what was the tall, skinny guy? I don't even remember his name now.
John Horst does take a lot of swings. The AJ Johnson pick was certainly a swing.
Yeah. Poku. Thank you. Yeah. I was going to say, nobody remembers Poku now.
Yeah. Poku.
Yeah.
The other Zhang.
Yeah.
Usman Zhang.
Usman Zhang. Yeah.
Jalen Williams. I mean, Chet was chalk. That was an obvious pick.
Yeah.
Who else was? Oh God, Trey Mann. Oh God. We'll talk about him in a second.
Yeah.
All right. Let's do the fell for it again, Ward.
Darius Baisley. God, what a.
Let's go. Love Darius Baisley. Well, and all of his political opinions. Anyway.
Yeah.
Fell for it again. Player who we believed in and they let us down. I'm sorry. I gotta include Bilal Coulibaly on here. I know he's only second year. I'm not overreacting, but after the hot start, we were like, Star Leap? We both did.
I victory lapped. I victory lapped taking him in the thing early.
Really? What? And then it was like, oh no, he's not very good. These offenses still got a long way to go. But we have to include him on here.
Yeah.
Corey Kispert for you. Caleb Martin for me.
I'm gonna plead it. I dropped that pretty quickly this year.
You did.
I
gotta give you credit for dropping it pretty quick.
Yeah. The second that extension hit the sheet, I was like, no.
Actually, Caleb Martin for both of us, to be honest.
Yeah, that's true.
Because he kills the Celtics, but it's the Heat role player thing.
Yeah.
We fell for the Heat role player thing again.
We really did.
Have to put that down.
That's one we gotta.
Ricky Council the fourth for me. Breaks my heart. Ricky Council, who I love dearly, is terrible. Jonathan Kuminga for me. I was like, give him another year. He stinks. He stinks. The Zach Lowe Beck part of the podcast yesterday, or I'm sorry, not Beck. Slater podcast, part of the podcast. Look, Slater covers the team. I get it. You got to do what you got to do to get access. I understand.
Yeah.
Not slander.
You got to do a little water carrying. Like, whenever you're a local beat guy, you have to eat shit and be
Zach
like, yeah.
needs to know better.
Yes.
Jonathan Kuminga is not good.
Yeah.
Stop it. Okay.
Yeah.
Give it up.
No way.
He's not good. Like, he's just, and maybe he goes somewhere else and he puts it all together someday. It ain't happening on the Warriors. And every time I watch, I'm like, he derails their offense. His defense is super overrated. He has horrible awareness on the court. Can't shoot. Doesn't pass. What does he do? He's just not he's just an athlete.
That one hurts. For myself.
No, hold on. I have two more.
Oh, you have two more? Okay.
Everyone else is falling for Josh Giddey and Mickey Mouse March.
Oh, yeah, that one.
And then Patrick Williams, who we've always both said stinks.
Yeah.
After his extension, we were both like, that's fine. We should have trusted our gut. He stinks. Yeah. He's been even worse since he's had the extension.
Well, it's like not that much money. You know what I'm saying? Like, where it's like less money than you think, but he does stink. You know what I'm saying? He's doing the Elden Ring ghost thing, where he's running around like imitating a better small forward.
Exactly.
I'm bringing that joke back. Yes, I'm recycling jokes because that one made me laugh. And
it was a good joke.
I still think about it. I'm still getting tricked because I'm not ready to give up yet, but I'm gonna put Jalen Duren down for myself.
Well, Jalen Duren's actually turned it around a little bit this year. He's been good at least. I early in the year I was like, this is tough.
Yeah.
And he's still 20.
I'm still tricked because I still watch him and I'm like, I think he's going to be awesome. I still think he's going to be awesome. And I know that, but there's so many indicators that are like, he's not good, but like
when Isaiah Stewart's on the court, their on-offs are probably like Jokic level.
Exactly. Like there's a ton of indicators that like Duren is like not good, but I watch him and I'm like, oh,
Okay.
Oh, so that is mine where I'm still actively being tricked. This one, I don't even know if I want to put this one out there. This is so sad. Do we want to just open up a spot here for Zach Edey?
No, I'm actually not. I'm genuinely not like I'm not owned.
Mm-hmm.
Although I did see the clip of Verno saying, I don't know if you saw this, but he was like, Zach Edey's not playable against anyone who has a smart coach. If you have a smart coach, they're going to figure out how to play Zach Edey off the court.
I'm just telling you, it's gotten so staggering where it's like, I've tweeted about this the other day where it's like, I have my timeline. And every time, like my timeline, it's like just all these people like Zach Edey has got to be in Rookie of the Year conversation. Like, look at these per 100s, like 20 rebounds the other night. Zach Edey. And I'm like, all right,
that's
cool.
Very Enes Kanter.
I'm a Zach Edey guy. And then I go to any Memphis Grizzly fan tweets, and they are like death threatening him. They are like, I hate it. Is very Enes Kanter. It's a very Enes Kanter-y, and that's alarming. It's very alarming how out all Grizzlies fans are unanimously with Zach Edey, with him having good stats.
Like counting stats,
yeah.
Also, you can't do the per 36 and per 100 on centers who play 20 minutes a game.
Yeah.
Like, you just can't do that.
Now, Robert Williams, and that's fine.
Like I said, you can't do that. So the reason that I say that is, they're always, especially offensively tilted bigs, it's always going to look better. But the reason why they can't play more than 20 minutes a game, sometimes it's conditioning, and then sometimes it's just that teams figure out how to play them off the court, and they're not usable in certain matchups. Boban was a historical per 100 guy. Remember him?
And that's it's probably a good comp for Edey, like, in all seriousness, like, to.
All right. Well, let's put it on the radar. I'm not giving up on him now because he's 23. Okay. It's not over for Edey. I refuse to believe it's over. But I would be happy to be if you were proven wrong here. But I mean, he certainly statistically is better than the eye test in general.
Are we bringing that up? Can we do? I want to do two more fun ones. Okay. Can we do a fun? Do we? Not for us.
Okay.
Do we get one on the dunker spot, guys, for Bam Adebayo?
I mean, what are your expectations for Bam Adebayo? If you're Zach Lowe and you're saying that Bam should be in the defensive player of the year conversation,
awesome. He's so cool. Like that was old school Zach. Like he 100% still on the Miami like mafia beat.
Oh, they have the 10th best defense in the NBA. Find me a season that Eric Spoelstra didn't have a top 10 defense with the Miami Heat, even before Bam Adebayo. Even when
Hassan Whiteside, exactly,
starting center. Hey, you know what the answer is? They've never not had a top 10 defense. Bam is not even all defense level this year.
I'm sorry. Yeah, that was crazy. So like Bam Adebayo, I don't know. The nerds are doing the fell for it. They're Bam without a star is, I think we're seeing the start of a fell for it again award with like Bam Adebayo. I could see us being like 50 games into next year and being like, what's going on with Bam Adebayo? Does he need a change of scenery? Like,
yeah, I mean, I think that the Heat are doing him no favors.
Sure. I mean, they're not, but I mean, Bam also protected him his whole career up to this point, though, too.
Yeah. I mean, I certainly would not have given him that contract. That's an insane contract for someone that is very clearly a number 2 and maybe even a number 3.
Yeah.
But
so
right, I'll give you that one.
Okay. And then my last one. So I'm going to read you some numbers real quick. Okay. And I want you to kind of like see if you can figure out who this is. Okay. Just from the numbers. Okay. So this is basically a 9 total rebounding percentage. These are advanced stats. 23 assist percentage, a 2.4 steal rate, a 2.1 block rate, and a 3.3 VORP. Now, this is somebody who's got like a lot of cachet and a lot of standing in the league. 27% usage. Do you have any guesses who this is?
No idea. Desmond Bane? No, he doesn't have high block rates.
No,
I have no doubt. Oh, fucking you asshole.
So it's Jalen Williams, who's someone that we didn't have to get to him here at this point, but I just wanted to bring him up, and I kind of wanted to give him his flowers. Just because I feel like we've kind of fell for it again. It's like Trill fell for it again with him.
I hate you.
I just wanted to bring him up in this conversation, and just kind of give him his flowers.
He's really in a no-win situation because he had his first bad game in a month the other day against the Lakers, which was obviously a big national TV game, and we know Sam doesn't watch other Thunder games. No. So but then if I say, well, he's been really good for a month, you'll be like, well, that's Mickey Mouse March. There's no winning.
Correct.
The
Plankton correct.
There's no way around it.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So let me run down the fell for it again nominees. Yeah. Bilal Coulibaly, Corey Kispert, Caleb Martin, Ricky Council, Jonathan Kuminga, Patrick Williams, Josh Giddey, Jalen Duren, Zach Edey, and Bam Adebayo.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. What do you think? I'm kind of.
I'm saying it. To me, it's a toss up between Jonathan Kuminga and Josh Giddey.
I like that we're picking the ones that we haven't been tricked by, which is it's Giddey. I mean, it is Giddey.
No, I got tricked by Kuminga a little bit. Remember, I was delusional enough to talk myself into the Sixers trading for him.
You were under duress though.
Yeah.
You were also saying some alarming things about DeJounte Murray during that time.
You wouldn't judge someone in a mental hospital.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say
some things that you say, when they're in flow state.
It's a big thing in with the AA meetings and stuff, for me is you don't you gotta give everyone a little grace. So,
yeah, of course. Did we fall for Zion? I feel like we both couched.
100%. I'm still, there's a different category I want to get to Zion.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's just give this to Giddey then, even though we didn't fall for it. It's just, he's just a perfect representation of the fall for it award.
Yeah.
All right. Japanese soldier. Still fighting World War II. I picked 3 players for each of us.
Okay.
So this is players that we can't quit.
Yeah.
Sam Kelly Olynyk, Sam Andrew Nembhard for star outside, star upside, and Sam Anthony Black.
It's kind of true. I will say I'm getting there with Anthony Black though. I might swap Anthony Black out for Zion.
Okay. All right. Let's put Zion down for you too.
Yeah. Give me Zion. I'm still in. I'm still in for one Zion postseason that will vindicate everything.
All right. And then for me, I wrote Jarris Walker, who I still give him time.
Incredible.
I can't quit Jarris Walker. I'm going back for more Jarris Walker. He's had some flashes.
Okay.
He's played a little bit.
Yep.
Trey Mann, an all-time Hooper love of mine. Trey Mann had a little breakout earlier this year, and then he kind of just got injured and went by the wayside.
Yep.
Trendon Watford, who I think he might stink, but I love Trendon Watford. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
He's kind of in the Kyle Anderson mold, but not good at all. He's more athletic
still
than
on
Kyle
the
Anderson.
Nets?
Yeah.
Did they cut him? Oh, okay. No, he's still on the Nets. Okay.
He's, for some reason, Will and all the Nets fans always are like, why does everyone think Trendon Watford's really he's just a guy? But he was also, I do think that my mind was a little bit poisoned by the fact that video where Anthony Edwards is talking about Cam Reddish.
Oh, yeah. He brings up Trendon Watford.
No, Tyrese Maxey and Trendon Watford are 2 of the other guys that are in the room with him.
Okay. Yeah.
So I think by association, I just associate him with hooping.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, Trendon Watford's that guy. But he's literally just like a guy. He's like, what if Kyle Anderson was athletic, but also not nearly as good?
Yeah.
So, an interesting archetype of player. And then someone just threw this out in the comments, and I think both of us. Zach LaVine.
That hurts.
He's on a heater again, but playing the most meaningless basketball imaginable.
He can't exist. He's he's almost like a reverse Satoru Gojo, where he's always existing in his own flow state of being on a 45% win team.
Yeah.
Like that is like, he can't ever be on a winning team or a winning roster anywhere. He's always got to be winning somewhere between 35 and like 45% of the games. That's like his red and blue, and they combine to the purple of being mid. is that
he's the human embodiment of the play-in.
Yes, he really is the play-in. Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
But there's like a few guys. I think we should do an all play-in team. I think it would be like Brandon Ingram.
Yep.
DeJounte Murray.
Yep.
Zach LaVine, like that level. But like then again, like once again, completely meaningless game basically against the Pistons the other night. Yep. He scored 43 points on 16 of 28, 8 of 11 from 3.
Yeah.
The night before against the Cavaliers, 15 of 21 from the field, 7 of 11 from 3, 37 points. Yep. Now he's putting up no other counting stats, but he is getting buckets still. I still am falling for it with Zach LaVine. But yeah, so I would say
one more though.
Yeah, let's pick one for each of us. But you can go. You can have one more.
So we've got the big contract, okay, and then he gave that weird interview. Did you see that like weird interview that like everyone's talking about that he gave? Where he is asking about Jalen when they're giving no not I'm dropping
Brown.
That. Yes, Jalen. Yeah.
Got
So
you.
Jalen. Yeah. Okay. So he
not Jalen Williams. I was like, Jalen Williams did not get a contract extension. What?
Yeah. No. Jalen. So he gives like this weird interview. He's made all this money. Like he's had a little bit of like an underwhelming season. From like his perspective,
injured, apparently. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's had like. Like obviously like things have changed and some of these, but he has had some of those like bad playoff moments, you know what I'm saying? That are kind of like changed some of these things. What?
Come on.
What are you talking about? He's the second best player on what's going to be a 60-win team, like when it comes to the end of the year.
He's a wing, athletic wing.
Yeah, he's an athletic wing.
Named Jalen.
And let me just read. Hold on. I just want to read some of these stats. Okay, he's got a 3.3 VORP, a 4 BPM, and look, I just wanted to give him his flowers, man.
Well, I know that's not about Jaylen Brown because he's a negative BPM this season. Someone was like, "How does Jaylen Brown have?" I was like, "I don't. Stop asking me questions about Jaylen Brown. I don't know how to do anything with Jaylen Brown. I don't know how to perceive Jaylen Brown."
Yeah.
I'm falling for it every time you say we have one more guy. I should get the Fell For It award. Okay, so we each have to pick one of our guys. So it's Trendon Watford, Jarris Walker, Trey Mann for me. For you, it's Andrew Nembhard, Anthony Black, and Kelly Olynyk, and for both of us, it's Zach LaVine and Zion.
Yeah. Man, we might have to go with Zach LaVine because we have been turbo owned by Zach LaVine like a bunch of times.
We've been propagandists, and it's time for us to just.
Yeah, we do have to pay the piper.
The Bulls traded him, and I know it was Mickey Mouse March, but they immediately started winning, and then the Kings got him, and they kind of went into the shitter a little bit. We got to own it a little bit. Okay, we'll have Zach.
Kevin tricked us.
Okay.
I'm blaming Kevin for that one.
That's fair. Yeah,
we have to listen to Kevin in the DMs. Just do propaganda at all times.
Kevin, you are the sin eater for us.
Yeah.
The Itch Jover Award. Players who might be done. Unfortunately, I had to put half of the Sixers roster on here. Joel Embiid, Paul George, Terry Rozier, Bradley Beal, Eric Gordon, Kyle Lowry, Andre Drummond, and Kevin Love. Kevin Love, I gotta say, a few guys on here who I think like got more juice. Kyle Lowry's definitely done.
Yeah.
But he also got way more time than I expected.
Yeah, for
sure. Kevin Love got way more time than I expected. Dario Saric is a good one.
Yep. That's a good one.
Dario Saric is a good one. A few of these guys got
happy birthday, Dario.
Got extra years. Like they were living on borrowed time.
Yeah.
So I would say that about sums up the list. Like these are either players that won't be in the NBA next year or players that are very clearly declined and like it possibly fell off a cliff?
Yeah. I mean, so like you have the inverse. I'm gonna be honest. I was gonna say bring up Clint Capella, but Clint Capella might be innocent.
Also, people in the comments are saying guys like PJ Tucker and Garrett Temple, those guys have been done for years.
Yeah.
This is like this year. It's obvious these players cannot play anymore.
Yeah,
it was obvious PJ Tucker couldn't play last year.
Like
he wasn't on an NBA roster for most of the season.
Yeah, like for example, somebody who's beaten the allegations, Russ. Still, I think Russ can still play in the NBA, and I think he's proved that this year.
Yeah, no, I would say he's I have a few people on the beating the allegations list later.
Yeah,
but by the way, did you see the Dario Saric news?
It's his birthday.
Even more important,
that
he already
met him.
No, it's more insane than that.
Okay.
He apparently accepted a contract with a team in Dubai for next year. That's I'm assuming the one that's joining the Euro League.
Okay.
When he has a year left on his contract.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know.
Year. Oh, well,
I've
then he's
never
just
heard of
it
that.
Down. Yeah.
But I've never heard of that while he's still in the NBA and he's like already got other plans.
Yeah. He's just opting his way out.
Oh, apparently it was fake news. We got duped.
Oh, okay. Fake news.
All right. Well, then that makes me feel better because I was like, if that does happen though, hilarious.
We didn't bring up Jrue Holiday.
Okay. Enough.
We didn't bring up Jrue Holiday. Also, Kristaps Porzingis has played the part-time god Kristaps Porzingis.
How many minutes has he played?
9, I want to say, off the top of my head.
What?
9 minutes this season is what I want to say off the top of my head. That's how many minutes I've watched him play basketball this year. If you don't count him going about, I love having diseases. I love having a Legionnaires and sitting on the bench.
I actually did miss someone.
Who?
I wouldn't say it's over for them, but probably in about 3 weeks from now, Jalen Williams of the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Oh, interesting. You wanted to give it? Okay, talk to me about it. I'll let you have it. Like
reverse Uno.
Okay. Did you? You know what? I'm glad you brought him up here. I'm glad we're giving him his flowers.
And by the way, I said reverse Uno because we know that Uno is a playoff riser, and
Uno is
the reverse of that.
Yes, he is. Yep.
So, all right, who do we think gets Jover for? I mean, do we say Joel? Because I feel like there are certain players on this list that have virtually no chance of overcoming this.
I mean, Lowry is more done than Joel Embiid, but like Joel Embiid,
we knew Lowry
seismic. Yeah. It's a more seismic.
Andre Drummond's been the worst player in the NBA this year, maybe.
I mean, he's turbo washed.
He's also on another list I have here.
Okay. Do we want to say I mean, Andre Drummond is like your guys' like secret sauce. Like I have never
seen him play anymore. He's done.
He's hurt. Okay. When he would play for the Sixers, he's like one of the worst players I've ever seen. I was like alarming how bad he was.
Joel Embiid certainly is the biggest name, the best player. I think it's got to go Joel. I don't want to do it, but he at least has a 10% chance of not being on this list at some point. I would say that there's a 0% chance that we're having a conversation about some of these guys. Like most of these guys, they'll just be out of the NBA soon.
Yeah.
But
Hijacked brings up, this hurts my heart. Was Robert Williams?
Ooh, I didn't even think about Robert Williams. Is he out for the year again? I think he is.
I think he is.
How many games did he play this year?
Not a lot. I want to say 17.
Jesus, man, his career really just did not recover from that. I mean, what injury did he have?
Another knee one. Yeah.
It's the same as Joel.
Yeah.
They both had bad reactions to that knee surgery.
Yeah. And that's bad. So
yeah.
Not ideal. Not ideal. All
right. Well, I'm going to just cry as I type this and say Joel Embiid.
Don't like that.
Okay. So, the Beating the Allegations award, Josh Giddey could not be included on this list, by the way. Cade Cunningham.
Did he literally beat the allegations? I think settling out of court doesn't count as beating the allegations, does it?
I mean, he didn't even get charged with anything, so technically, I guess.
Yeah, so I guess he didn't beat the allegations.
No,
there wasn't really anything alleged.
There were allegations, but they were levied by other parties.
Gotcha. Okay, fair enough.
And also, in the court of public opinion, he certainly did not beat the allegations.
He did not beat the allegations. He's like Drake. He's kind of
He's got the Drake
he and Drake have the same thing where like no, but effectively yeah.
But Giddey has to come out with a song called like Motorola Razor and like dance around and make people forget that he has these allegations against him.
Mickey slide, left foot up, right foot slide.
Perfect.
In like a lion, out like a lamb. It's the Mickey Mouse March slide.
All right. Cade Cunningham certainly beat the allegations this year, starting to look like the player that people thought he was going to look like pre-draft. Owned us. Probably going to make third team All-NBA. Made the All-Star team. Got the Pistons looking good again. So he certainly should be on here. Darius Garland beat the allegations after a weird year last year. Tyler Hero beat the allegations after I said that he was one of the worst draft picks and we always take him in the bad contract draft.
Yeah, that's we could talk about Tyler Hero because I feel like Tyler Hero, like if we had done this like at the All-Star break, like Tyler Hero would have run away with this award, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Hero once again, Hero fell off after the All-Star break, but then he bounced back up again. So I don't know. Evan Mobley, as Nate puts in the comments, he beat the Derek Favors allegations. Derek Favors was the comp that Tim Bontemps made for him a year ago. And then, honestly, I think the player who should win this award, LeBron James.
Ooh.
I mean, I said he was washed at the beginning of the year. We talked about the fact that we were like, there's no way that he's going to make All-NBA, and it's going to be the first time he's making All-NBA. He's never going to not make All-NBA when he's in the NBA.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's a good. So like the LeBron. I don't know. Do you think? I think everyone should. I think everyone should have a gun pointed at them, and they should have to declare right now. Do you think LeBron James is washed? Like right now, because I don't know what I pick.
I would say no. Because I still think there's a world where he could be the best player in a playoff series, even if he's not regularly the best player in a playoff series.
Okay.
At the beginning of the year, I thought he was washed. And then 20 games into the year, he just goes on a run. He doesn't have it for full seasons.
Yeah.
He doesn't have it for even maybe 4 straight playoff rounds. But he can have it on any given night. And he's fighting through this ankle injury to get to those All-NBA requirements right now. I think LeBron needs to be the one who wins this.
He does. Okay. Yeah. No, you've talked me into it. I'm. Yeah.
To me, it's either him or Cade.
He's also up there. Do we want to talk about Isaiah Hartenstein, by the way?
For what? Because he's teammates with Jalen Williams?
No, for this award.
What allegations?
Look. Okay. So here's Isaiah Hartenstein. Oh, wait. Hold on. Okay. Hold on. Never mind. Okay. So that's actually Jalen Williams.
I'm blocking your screen so you can't.
So here's the thing. But they're both kind of, if you think about it, they're both kind of, they have beaten the allegations. Jalen Williams is kind of, he could be a playoff riser. So he could be someone who could, I just want to give him his flowers, I guess.
Are you trying to say Isaiah Hartenstein needs to do 23andMe?
I'm just saying I got him confused. I confused him with Jalen Williams. I'm just gonna leave it at that. So yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to bring that. I just wanted to give him his flowers, really. So yeah,
fair.
I wanted to mention him. You know, like he's not gonna make it, but I wanted to mention him. So
all right. So LeBron wins beating the allegations. By the way, a real shout out to Garland for having a bounce back year. Mobley and Cade for making leaps. I had Quentin Grimes on here because everyone kind of left him for dead. And I feel like he's just been good this year.
He's just been
an amazing stretch.
I don't think he was impactful enough. I mean, I do think you and I, we do kind of owe it to, especially me, mostly me, a little bit you, but mostly me. I think I owe it to everyone to eat shit on Cade, and especially looking like he's probably going to make All NBA. So
yeah,
I think we do kind of have to just put Cade here.
Okay, let's give it to Cade then instead of LeBron.
Instead of LeBron, just
Cade,
because
Cade wins.
Yeah.
All right. And then this is an idea that I think we did it last year, but Trey from Celtics Twitter threw it out there, and he called it like the Semi-Ojeleye worst rotation player.
Yeah.
We'll do our worst rotation player draft at some point too.
Mm-hmm.
But I called this the Johnny Davis worst rotation player award because Johnny Davis had some moments in the NBA, probably the most recent horrible player that we've had, unfortunately. Andre Drummond, Kyle Kuzma, Cody Williams, Nick Smith Jr., Tid John Saloon. I'm saying his name wrong.
I was like, the second I heard Cody Williams, I was like, that's a lock. But Saloon,
no, I think Cody Williams
in this worse.
The yin and yang.
That's the Bird and like Magic Johnson picture for me of like bad rotation players is like Tid John Saloon. That's cinema right there.
Keon Johnson from the Nets.
He's pretty bad too.
Elfrid Payton from the Pelicans, who's Sam didn't even know was in the NBA until we went to the game.
Yeah, I was like, holy shit. That guy looks like Elfrid Payton. It's crazy.
Oh, that is Elfrid Payton.
Literally. Is that Gary Payton's other son? No, that's Elfrid Payton.
Yeah, that's Gary Payton's other son, Gary Payton Jr.
Yeah.
Is that a thing I just made up, or is that a real thing that he is a Gary Payton II and a Gary Payton Jr.? Or is he not one of those guys?
No, I think he's
I'm
second. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I'm right though. I'm pretty sure that he has both.
No,
there's Gary Payton Jr. and Gary Payton II.
Yeah, he has
them
both.
King. Absolute king. So yeah, this comes down to, I know they're rookies, so it's kind of cheating, but they're like spectacularly bad rookies. That's the thing, is like, it's not like a normal bad rookie where you're like, oh, Scoot Henderson struggled. Okay. Jalen Suggs struggled. Well, a lot of guys suck their rookie year.
Darius Garland. We always use Darius Garland.
Sure. Darius is another good example of someone who became a good player.
Bad. Yep.
Tid John Saloon and Cody Williams are like amazingly bad for, especially being top 10 picks. Yeah. Even though if you're optimistic on their long-term outcomes, whatever, they were absolutely horrendous this year.
Terrible.
I implore you to go on B-Ball Reference right now and compare their stats.
Okay.
You will find that Tid John Saloon, who I'm saying his name wrong again, I don't care. I'm never he'll be in Europe in 2 years. I don't need to learn how to say his name. And Cody Williams, compare their stats and go to the per 36 per 100 advanced. You will find that they're basically the same across the board, except Tid John occasionally makes threes and also can rebound. But otherwise, they're almost identical. Cody Williams is like insanely bad.
This is crazy.
Please, you can share the screen.
He's also like a year and a half older than
Hold on. He's a year and a half older than Saloon, right?
Saloon, yeah.
Salon or whatever we say his name.
Yep.
So Salon shot 33% from the field this year. Mm-hmm. Who has a better true shooting? You should have just done the compare tool.
Oh, I can't pop that in with the things. But I'd just say 42% true shooting is some insane work. Like I've never seen that before.
Okay, so if you're listening to this, per 100 possessions, Cody Williams averaged 10 points.
Oh no.
5 rebounds, 2.7 assists per 100. Now in an average NBA game, there's about 75 possessions.
No.
This is per 100.
No, in the average game, there's like 112.
Well, but the players playing, I mean, not
yes, a player,
A player is playing about 75 per game.
Possessions, yeah.
So he's shooting 32% from the field, 25.9% from three, 72% from the line, but he only gets there 1.8 per 100 possessions.
That's crazy. Not even 2 trips to the line per 100. That's some crazy work right there.
Now I'm gonna do Tijon Saloon stats.
Here,
because
I can just go back and he'll be there.
Okay.
He'll be here. When
Pull those up.
If my thing will. Here we go.
Okay, now let's pull up the per 100 advanced. All right, so advanced stats. True shooting 46, already better.
Yep.
Rebound rate
technically the best kind of better.
Per 100 possessions, 14 points. That's more.
Mm-hmm.
2.9 assists. I believe that's more. He does turn it over a little bit more, but he also has the ball more. 11 rebounds. But that's like not horrible.
No.
He's shooting 33% from the field, 28% from 3, but he takes 8 threes per 100, so his true shooting is higher, and he gets to the line 3.7 times per 100, which is double the rate that Cody Williams has. Cody Williams is the worst player we've ever seen.
He's like got to be up there. Like I was gonna say, like I do think we're short selling Scoot because Scoot was like.
We forget the ball, though. That's just like a role thing.
I mean, I guess, yeah, but like also Scoot was I remember having these exact same like conversations when we were like,
he was really bad
about Scoot. And I also one other one that I think we forgot about here. So like let's look at this, like these per 100s, okay? So we're looking at 24 field goals per game. This is 48. Did that update? Did that screen share come up?
No, it did not. Thankfully.
Sure. Okay,
good.
Here, cool. So here it is. So we're looking at about like 24 field goal attempts per game. There's like 48 field goal percentage.
36 from 3.
36 from 3, which like it sounds good, but this is a third-year player we're talking about.
Yeah.
I just want to like bring that up. Like I don't know who this is. Can you read who it is at the top of the screen? I can't.
Oh yeah, that's Ousmane Dieng.
Okay. Yeah. Is it Ousmane Dieng? I feel like because it starts with Jalen, like I feel like it's someone else.
No, that's a third-year wing on the Thunder. I know those stats anywhere.
Oh, okay.
That's Ousmane Dieng.
I was just gonna say because if this was Jalen Williams, because I kind of thought that this was Jalen Williams, I'd want to like give him his flowers.
Great. Thanks. We're 2 hours in. We can stop the bit. Okay. The last category.
Okay.
One that I did not even show to you because I wanted to surprise you with it.
Yep.
The January 6 award. NBA players who would be likely to overthrow Adam Silver in the league front office.
Oh, no.
Draymond Green. Ja Morant leads a well-regulated militia. Derek Lively for allowing the Luka trade to go through and costing him millions of dollars.
Okay.
Christian Brown just looks like the most January
guy
we have in the NBA.
Christian Brown was there, practice. Yeah. He's got the reps.
Also a last name that is very closely tied to January 6 style activities. Now that Gordon Hayward's retired, I feel like he is the most January 6 energy of any player in the NBA.
Yep.
And then David Duke Jr., that one's self-explanatory.
Yep. I like what D. Furt put in the comments that Beef Stew is just there just because he likes a good scrap. Like he just sees like a bunch of people. He just comes off the bench, like locked in, running in. Yeah. There's a different world where Beef Stew is there and he accidentally saves Ashley Babbitt's life by throwing her out of the way.
I honestly.
Sorry. I keep forgetting this isn't a Patreon episode.
No, let him cook.
Yeah.
There's also a great one that I don't know how I didn't think of this. Yeah. James Harden with G.
Oh my God. Yeah. That will be our new chairman.
Yeah. With the backing of G in China, James Harden overtaking the NBA, it becomes the CBA.
Yep. Dude, we could have
do away with the collective bargaining agreement name.
You could come up with like a pretty good parliament with just NBA players with like strong ties to China. Like James Harden, Stephon Marbury is obviously the glorious leader. Like
sure.
Knows both countries inside and out.
Jeremy Lin played there.
I think Marshawn Brooks, another like Chinese league, like all-star. Yabu, another one who's like kind of could be like a strong ambassador from like playing like a bunch of
love Yabu.
Yeah. Yao is like kind of like an elder statesman. Like
yeah, he's running propaganda for the CCP now.
Yeah, Jimmer, incredible. And yeah, I think we could. I think all of that would be like really strong. So,
so the January 6th award, players most likely to overthrow Adam Silver in the front office. It's Draymond, right?
I don't think so. I think
Draymond.
No, I think Draymond. How can I put this that in a way that'll make sense? I think that Draymond is kind of like the Lee Harvey Oswald of the NBA, in that like he is like
he's a patsy.
He's a patsy. You know what I'm saying? Like he's kind of brought in. Like he things are going well for Draymond. Like he likes to like antagonize. Like he's an outsider. But like he doesn't get through. He gets away with everything. You know what I'm saying? Like this is actually like a very cushy position to him. Like what's going on? He's not actually Draymond. If Draymond came face to face with Adam Silver, what would I do with that? Kill you? I don't want to kill you. No. You complete
needs him.
Me.
Yeah. He's his other half.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. He's his other half. Like Draymond would like gather up. You know, he would be some of the guys who would like. John Morant has like more of a reason because like. Again, I mean, I don't want to like go to the mat for John Morant and say that like he's never done anything wrong.
No, we're the only podcast that has to go to the mat for John Morant. I'm sorry, we're standing up for Ja.
Yeah,
we're standing up for the Second Amendment that we obviously love. Yeah. And we're saying that it's woke, utter woke nonsense that Ja Morant got a $50,000 fine.
I feel like Ja Morant like gets blamed for his dad drinking is like kind of like what happened. Like I'm like barely kidding. Like I do think that like Ja Morant, like because his like friends come to games and like act rowdy and like stuff like that happens, that like he gets like a shorter leash for things that he like hasn't technically done, but like it just seems like the league office like it kind of seems like he should have done that though. like I'm just saying like
Ja Morant innocent.
Yeah, John Morant. I don't know. I just think it's Fed behavior. There's always Fed behavior from the league when John Morant is involved with it. So I think he something.
Also, speaking of dads who drink, did you see the clip of Michael Jordan turning up to "They Not Like Us" in the club?
No.
So he doesn't even like rap, apparently. But I was like, I love that the only rap song that he could get behind is just because it's Kendrick being a fucking hater.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that he can resonate with emotionally.
Yeah. He needs someone destroying someone's life to feel like.
That's exactly.
Yeah.
I literally immediately DM'd Q that. I was like,
Michael Jordan is like, he's the biggest psychopath where he ran out of lives to destroy. So he then chose his own and started gambling. Like that like he turned
the gun on himself.
Yeah, I was gonna say he ran out of like he really is Ozymandias. Like he wept
and he also ran the Hornets.
I mean, yeah,
exactly,
running the Hornets. Also, him hating rap again. More proof that Jimmy Butler is Michael Jordan's son. Like, I'm sorry, like just facts.
Absolute facts.
Yeah.
But this goes back to the conversation that we had the other day that. If I had known that Aaron Rodgers was a fan of Bon Iver, I would have been fading him in the playoffs for years. I would have been like,
you really hurt my feelings sending me that. That was something I didn't need to know about, and you did that to me.
All right, I'm gonna just read the text that I sent Sam the other day live on the air so that you can understand what exactly I sent. It was a clip of Bon Iver and Aaron Rodgers talking when he was on the Packers. And they were talking about Holocene, which is a great song. Love some Holocene. But I sent this message to Sam. I said, part of the reason why I think Aaron Rodgers didn't live up to his potential is because he was too aware of his surroundings. Being a fan of Bon Iver is a red flag for a football robot. You need to have no emotional bandwidth if you want to be a great football player. Tom Brady doesn't actually listen to music. He just tells people he does so that he seems more like a human being. Once again, Michael Jordan, Tom Brady. Michael Jordan's only reason he liked that song is because it's literally destroying another person's life.
Yeah.
Tom Brady, when he played, they asked him what his favorite music he was listening to, and he said Kendrick Lamar, and they said what album, what song, what album, and he said the new one they play in the locker room. Like he doesn't know the lyrics to like a Bon Iver song.
No, he listens to like sound effects. Like
just the Kill Bill siren.
Yeah, exactly. The Kill Bill siren is going. I like at one point in the gym this year, I received like a text that was like, "Hey, really appreciate it. It's not going to work out though. I'm moving on." And I also got that text from Trill in the gym, and that was a worse text to me, finding out that Aaron Rodgers found out that it was also a Bon Iver fan. Like that was really a bummer.
Just a few guys that went to college almost 20 years ago and love Bon Iver.
It was not 20 years ago. Oh, you're talking about Bon Iver.
Well, you and Aaron Rodgers.
It wasn't. Oh my God, it is. It's getting kind of close to 20 years ago.
We had this conversation recently. Next year, the freshmen will be the same year. They will be 18 next year. You were 18 your freshman year. I only know this because I'm a year off from you, and it made me feel weird when I realized it. I'm sorry to end the podcast this way. I really am. No,
and then Brandon, just salt in the wound, was like, I look like Aaron Rodgers with the mustache. I'm gonna go shave. I'm not only am I gonna shave, I'm gonna hit myself with the bleach treatment so it doesn't grow back.
Saying you look like Aaron Rodgers isn't a bad thing. Aaron Rodgers is a good looking guy.
It is. He ruined it. Ruined it.
It's true.
Yeah.
Relax.
I'm not relaxing. Shalane Woodley, what's up, girl? Catch me on Raya.
I was gonna say, if you wanted an emotionally stable Aaron Rodgers, hit me up.
Well, I can't guarantee emotionally stable. I'm about to log off and boot up Steam after this thing, so we can't do that too.
All right, we'll be back with the Patreon episode later this week. I might hop on for a tank stream later tonight, depending on how Nets Pelicans go. And yeah, that's it. Playoffs are soon.
Let's go.
Talk soon.
Oh, shout out to Ursus for starting Umineko. I salute you.